First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Yahweh is the name of who this world ignorantly calls God. Yahushai is the name of who this world ignorantly calls Jesus. Bahashim is in the name, Rakah means spirit, and Kwadash means holy. That's on the Paleo Hebrew. I also want to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Today's lesson, I'm going to go into how Russia is done drinking that wine. Okay, Russia is done drinking that wine. Right? And the reason I say that is because of what Vladimir Putin, right, said the other day. Right, pretty much going into how he's not going to let this type of behavior run over there in Russia. Okay, it's going to be something that's penalized. Right, you can get arrested for it. Okay, and we already are seeing the beginnings of it. Okay, and this is all part of Bible prophecy that is playing out in front of us. Right, because let's read a little bit of this article. I'm going to have to make this a quick lesson. Phone's about to die. But it says, Russia's Supreme Court has moved to classify the International Alphabet Social Movement as an extremist organization in the latest global move against alphabet inclusivity. Right, and right there is beautiful how they called it an extremist organization, because that's exactly what they are. Right, I was watching the Dallas camp the other day, and they were going into how these people that partake in this lifestyle, being homosexuals, right, thinking it's okay, they are extremists, right? Because there is nothing that you can put in front of them that they won't do, right? They'll commit all types of abominable acts and think it's okay, right? Because to be a homosexual, right, that's pretty much at the top of the food chain of being a fuck. I was about to go off the chain, right? That's pretty much at the top of the food chain of being a damn demon, right? Right there next to pretty much sacrificing people, drinking blood, okay, pedophilia, bestiality is right up there. Okay, so all these other wicked acts that are under the face of the earth, that's nothing to them, right? They'll do anything that comes their way, okay, because they're wicked. They're extremists on the left-hand side. It says the Thursday ruling criminalizes not just any activists working to advance human rights for queer individuals, but could also enable prosecutors to target anyone who supports alphabet people. The move is causing activists to warn of a possible rise in arrests and reduction in the limited positive coverage of alphabet individuals. If you speak at all about alphabet rights, whether you do it by protesting peacefully or just posting comments on social media, by saying anything in public, anything at all, you're going to be in trouble, says Tanya Lokshina, Associate Director for Human Rights Watch's Europe and Central Asia Division. Research from the Pew Research Center indicates a worldwide trend. Okay, that's a key point. Remember that. A worldwide trend toward increased public support for the legalization of same-sex marriage throughout the past decade, but the attitudes about the alphabet people community still vary vastly in different countries. 92% of Swedes are in favor of same-sex, compared to 2% of Nigerians. Okay, and that's a beautiful point. They said that it's worldwide trend, right? And the reason it's worldwide is because Esau, Edom, right, the Edomites, the so-called white people, the wicked of the earth, they are the ones in rulership. Okay, and they're the ones that are pushing forth this narrative. They're the ones that are pushing this wine, right, the philosophy onto the other nations, right? And this is making the nations mad because they are realizing that this is complete wickedness, right? Once the people start indulging in this type of mindset, it sets everything in disorder in their countries, right? The women start thinking that it's okay to talk back to the man, right? The children start thinking it's okay to run around with a wig, right? Thinking it's okay, men with men, woman with woman, okay? It's okay to just be a complete degenerate, right? That's what America pushes, okay? And they label it okay, okay? They say that it's a normal thing, right? And, hey, let's get Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 6, right? Because this is exactly what's going on right now. Ecclesiastes, if I can find it, chapter 10 and verse 6, it says, folly is set in great dignity, and the rich set in low place. Right, let's get that word folly. Feels like my phone's about to die. Gotta make this video quick, man. Actually, let me turn on my car so I can plug it in. I want to make this an edifying video. There we go. So it says folly, lack of good sense, foolishness, right? So pretty much being a fool, not knowing what you're doing, right? And ultimately, that's the, madness, right? That's the mindset that America pushes, right? That mindset of, hey, you don't got to know what you're doing, right? Just do whatever, okay? Just do whatever you want. Do as thou wilt, okay? And ultimately, hey, the Heavenly Father told us not to do that, right? We have strict commandments on what to do, right? The damn word commandments literally means he's commanding you to do something, right? He said, this shall thou do, this shall thou not do. Do this, don't do that, okay? But here in America, they tell you, hey, do whatever, right? Which is pretty much being a demon, right? Being wicked. But it says folly is set in great dignity, right? This is something that in the world right now is pushed at a global scale, right? They're pushing folly, right? Homosexuality, everything I've been going over, they're pushing that like it's okay, right? That's just the forefront of this world, and that's the agenda. It says, and the rich set in low place, right? The rich going into the Israelites, right? Right now, we're at the bottom of the barrel, right? We're nothing. We're viewed as proverbs and bywords, the scum of the earth. It says, I have seen servants upon horses, and the princes walking as servants upon the earth, right? Going into how everything is in complete disorder, right? Because all these other nations, hey, they are servants to the Israelites. Okay, they're supposed to be beneath us, serving us. But right now, hey, they have the upper hand. Right now, it's their part of the movie to rule. Okay, just like all the other kingdoms, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Medo-Persians, the Greeks, and the Romans, they all had their time to rule. Right now, we're at the last end of the Roman Empire, which is ruled, right, by America, Babylon the Great, at the forefront. Okay, that great horror that it talks about in Revelation, right? But ultimately, that point was that folly is set in great dignity. Okay, let's get that in Jeremiah now. Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 7. It says, Babylon, America, hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Right? And the wine is going into philosophy. Right? It's not going into the alcoholic beverage. It's symbolic for the philosophies of America. Right, which the philosophies that they push here is folly, right, is wickedness, right? As we seen, man, that alphabet movement is going worldwide, right? Because America is pushing it worldwide, right? But these nations, like I was saying, they're realizing that this does not benefit them, and it's making them mad. Okay, they're starting to pretty much come against it, right? Exactly as we're seeing right here with Russia. Okay, they said, hey, we're not going to tolerate that bullshit no more. Right, you come with that bullshit over here, hey, you're going to get thrown in jail. You're going to get deported, right? You're going to get beat, okay? And right here, you're starting to see that judgment. Police raid gay venues in Russia after top court bans international alphabet movement, right? These people, hey, they're cracking down, and they especially don't play about that over there in the eastern countries, right? Ishmael don't play with that, right? Going into the Arabs, they don't play with that, man, okay? They don't play with that. I remember a couple months ago, I think it was during the summer, you had a so-called BW, a black woman, went over there to Dubai and was pretty much on the jet skis, throwing ass, right, pretty much causing havoc. And she got her ass jailed, man. She got her ass jailed over there in Dubai and couldn't leave, right? It was a whole thing on the news, right, because she was acting a fool. And ultimately, that's an example, right? These women, hey, look at the story of, what was her name, man? The story of, I forgot her name. I think it was in Esther. Right, let's go there real quick. A little bit off topic. Right, but this is why these things can't go unchecked. Right, because the people will follow. Esther, if I can find it, man. Esther chapter 1. Right, in the account of Esther, I forgot the woman's name though, but pretty much she had this king, right, which told his wife, right, his woman, Vashti, right, to come to where he was at, right, so that all the people of his kingdom can see her beauty, right, can see her glory, right, and she pretty much bucked up and said, nah, I'm not going to do that, right. Let's get the account real quick, right. Verse 11, it says, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look on. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. Right? Because pretty much, hey, this king had all his people doing what he was saying. And here it is, this measly hoe, right? His woman didn't want to come and listen to what he was saying. Right? She was acting rebellious, out of order. Right? And then let's keep reading a little bit. Verse 16, it says, one of his wise men told the king, it says, and Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes, and to all the people that are in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus. Right, for this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes when it shall be reported. The king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. Right, so that example, right, of that woman acting out of order, right, all the women of that kingdom are going to hear it, right, and they're going to start acting on it, right? It's going to come into their mind, right? Oh, if the queen is not listening to her man, I'm not going to do it either. Right, that's right. That's the mindset of a woman, right? They're very gullible, right? As it says, the woman is the weaker vessel. Okay, they're easier to corrupt. But ultimately, the point is that everything is about example. As it says, I forgot exactly the scripture, but it goes into how, hey, say this proverb throughout Israel, right? So is the mother, right? As the mother is, so will the daughter be, right? Going into how if the mother is a harlot, hey, the daughter is going to come out the same way. And ultimately, it's all about example, right? And the example that America, Babylon the Great pushes, that wine, the philosophy, is wickedness. Okay, so when this is pushed over there to those Eastern countries, right, they see that their daughter is listening into it, right? They know that this is nothing good, right? It pisses them off that their daughter is over here shaking ass, throwing on a bad baby, right? Throwing on, what's the word? A Beyonce fit. Right, man, I can't even think about these harlots. Throwing on a sexy red fit, okay, and thinking it's okay. Recording themselves talking about, yeah, I hate my nigga, okay. That's why these nations are mad, because they realize that it's corrupt, okay. And this is what the king said, man. He threw out a decree, right, and this is what he told to all the women, right. This is how it's supposed to be, okay, complete order. It says, verse 20, and when the king's decree which he shall make shall be pledged through all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to the great and small. Okay? Both to the great and small. Doesn't matter if your husband is broke, right? The woman, right? His woman is supposed to honor and reverence him. Okay? But Babylon the Great is completely contrary to that. They say the woman is above the man. They say that they don't gotta listen to the man, right? They push, man. It's just everything is off here, right? Everything is off here, okay? And that's as simple to put it. Hey, this is all Bible prophecy. Let's go to Revelation chapter 20 and verse 8, right? Because it was also prophecy that these Edomites, they're gonna pretty much come into power and do these wicked acts, right? Deceive the nations. Right, because pretty much Revelation 20 goes into the 1,000 years, right, when they were in the bottomless pit, right, going into when the Edomites, right, they lost power, right. They refer to it as the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, right. Throughout those 1,000 years, they had no power, right. They had pretty much a spiritual seal upon them that no matter what they could do, they were not going to raise into power, right. But after those 1,000 years, right, that seal was taken off of them, and they came back into power. Right, it was called the Renaissance, right, which the Renaissance goes into rebirth, right. Where were they birthed from? They were birthed from that bottomless pit, right. They came back into power, the rebirth, right. But verse 7, right, now that we have the context to going into that, it says that when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, right. And here it's not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. It's talking about these Edomites, right. If you go into that word Satan in the blue letter, right, one of the definitions, it goes into a Satan-like man, right? Someone who portrays the acts of Satan, okay? That's what these devils, these Edomites do, right? They are like they are the physical counterpart of Satan on earth. Okay, they are the wicked, right? So after those 1,000 years are expired, these Edomites shall be loosed out of his prison, right? And they're going to gain back into power, whereas we are in that little season right now, right? Because if we go up to, let's just read it, verse 3, it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season, right? Right now we are in that little season where the Edomites, right, the physical counterpart of Satan, is ruling in the earth, the wicked, right? It says, and shall go out to deceive the nations, which are in the four corners of the earth, right? And one of the ways he's deceiving the nations is with the philosophies, right? He's pushing the philosophy of wickedness onto the nations and saying it's okay, right? When in actuality, it's not okay, right? That's the damn definition of deceiving. It says Gog and Magog, right? Which Gog and Magog goes into Russia, right? They also deceive the Russians, but the Russians are starting to see through that bullshit, as we're seeing right here. It says to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea, right? Because the main people, right, at World War III is going to be Gog and Magog. Is going to be the Russians, right? I think it's Ezekiel. I'm not going to pretty much go into it, but Ezekiel, let's get it actually. Right, these videos are supposed to be informative, edifying, right? But Ezekiel chapter 38 goes into how Russia, right? It's talking about right here, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, the Russians, verse 7, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Right, Russia is going to be at the forefront of World War III, right? Guarding these nations right here. Persia going into Iran, Libya, Ethiopia, go over to Togomar, which goes into Turkey, right? And pretty much all those countries I just listed, they're going to be the ones at the forefront. Right? I just wanted to get that information out there. Right? But the point is that this is that wine that the nations have drunk of, and that they're pissed off. Right? It's called Americanization. Right? Just like how you had in the Greek Empire, Hellenization, right? Which, let's get that. Hellenization or Hellenism is the adoption of Greek culture, religion, language, and identity by non-Greeks, right? The spread of Greek culture that had begun after the conquest of Alexander the Great in the 4th century BCE, right? So pretty much all these countries that the Greeks were conquering, they're Hellenizing them, meaning that if you didn't bow down to their ways, right, eating pork, being pretty much a Greek citizen, right, they would kill you, right? They will get rid of you. But if you pretty much bow down to the way that they were living, right, you would become one of their tributaries, right? You would have to pay taxes to them, right? Which that's exactly what's going on here today, right? Just by another name. Instead of Hellenization, right now it's called Americanization. Americanization is the process of an immigrant to the United States becoming a person who shares American culture, values, beliefs, and customs by assimilating into the American nation, right? And if you go into the Wikipedia, right, it shows you that, right? You have McDonald's, right, Mickey D's, McDick's, right, over there in China. That's Americanization. And now that article we read, right, the Times article, going into how this is a worldwide phenomenon, right? This is something global. Right, the reason for that is because the wicked right now, they are in rulership. Right, let's get that. Job chapter 9,